Yo, what's good, IE Sports Radio fans? It's your boy, the SoCal Saint, back at it again with another new episode of the IE Wrestling Show, your direct feed for all that is professional wrestling on the only network that is your direct feed for all that is sports, IE Sports Radio. Peep the logo, peep the title. Nobody's coming for it. I'm the undisputed champion of the professional wrestling podcast world. Can nobody touch me? I'm the man, the tribal chief of IE Sports Radio. Put your ones up in the air if you're down with the SoCal Saint. Man, we got a big show to talk about, guys. Speaking of the bloodline and what's been going on, that will be one of our first things we talk about. We got a new member of the bloodline, possibly the most dangerous member of the bloodline. Then we got some big viral news going on because everyone believes in Joe Hendry. And we also got some funny AEW news I can't wait to talk about. And of course, the upcoming WWE big premium live event next weekend live in TO Canada. That is Money in the Bank. But guys, before we jump into that, I got to give a shout out to the IE Sports Radio crew. And you can follow IE Sports Radio on all social media platforms, TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook, and check out our official website. Wow, I don't know why I took a pause there. It's like I had a brain fart. Check out our official website, iesportsradio.com, where you can join for free. And you can interact with all the hosts of the IE Sports Radio's many platform shows. And you can listen to a lot of the backlogs if you're becoming a new member of the IE Sports Radio family. And you want to check out some of my past episodes. They're all under the IE Wrestling banner there. You can check out our Hall of Fame, all the members of the IE Sports Radio Hall of Fame, as well as everyone that's been repping the IE Sports Radio crew and brand. Specifically, you can hit up our shop. Go to iesportsradio.com/shop, and you can earn yourself some awesome merch, baby. You want to show that love for IE Sports Radio like we only know you can. Go to the shop, throw some shekels our way, and peep out a hat. It's awesome t-shirt, a tank top for your lady, whatever you can find in the merch shop. You can get it right there directly to you from the IE Sports Radio shop. And we're on many podcasting platforms. I know we're streaming live right now. Thank you if you're tuning in live right now. We are live on Facebook, on X, on Instagram, and on YouTube. But you can also check out, if you're not able to watch us live, on many of our podcasting platforms. That's Spreaker, that's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, whatever your platform is that you love to listen to podcasts. That's where you can catch this episode after the live stream has ended, guys. And we wouldn't be able to do this without our official IE Sports Radio sponsors, Seal the Deal Wax Seals and PlanetJerky.net. That's Planet Jerky, premium brisket beef jerky, where you can order delicious 100% beef brisket beef jerky from PlanetJerky.net. It is delicious. Trust me, I'm not just shilling a product to you. I have tried it myself. It is magnifique, muy delicioso. It is so good, guys. If you haven't tried yourself a bag of premium brisket beef jerky from PlanetJerky.net, you got to check it out. Now, don't take my word for it. Let's listen to our official sponsors, and we'll come right back here to the IE Wrestling Show with your boy, the SoCal Saint. We'll be right back, guys.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
Big shout out and thanks to Planet Jerky and Seal the Deal Wax Seals for keeping the lights on here at IE Sports Radio. Much love. Without them, we wouldn't have the ability to be live on the air and do this thing that we love to do for you guys, the loyal listeners of IE Sports Radio. So give them a round of applause, a shout out to Seal the Deal, Wax Seals, and Planet Jerky once again. Ooh, yeah. And shout out to one of my IE Sports Radio brothers, the host of the Yinzer Report, Ralph Calise, in the chat room. I just got to give him a shout out. Yeet, yeet, yeet. That's right. Just had to give him a shout out. Let's go! Shout out to Taryn Rodriguez, another IE Sports Radio brother, live in the chat room. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Hopefully we get some more of you guys tuning in and commenting here in the chat room. We got a lot to talk about, guys. Ooh, excuse me. So I want to jump right into it, guys. So this past Friday, if you missed SmackDown, you missed a hell of an episode. What an awesome Friday night of professional wrestling that we witnessed this past Friday night on SmackDown. This actually did one hell of a rating for WWE. It did over 2 million viewers watching live on Fox for SmackDown. This is one of the biggest numbers they've had since the WrestleMania season. So that's really good to hear. We had some Money in the Bank qualifying matches that took place for the men's and I believe the women's Money in the Bank ladder matches this past Friday. Carmelo Hayes, one of the newest members of the SmackDown roster, former NXT champion, has qualified for the Money in the Bank ladder match next Sunday in Toronto. The women's qualifier from SmackDown escapes me at the moment, but we'll talk about it later when we get to Money in the Bank. But the big story coming out of SmackDown, well, real quick, sorry, I don't mean to backtrack or get sidetracked, but I just wanted to send live on air, I wanted to send some prayers of comfort and condolences to the Onawai family, specifically the son of the recently deceased, the tribal chief himself, Roman Reigns, because his father, Wild Samoan and WWE Hall of Famer Sika, passed away yesterday at the age of 79. He had been, I had heard he had been sick. He had actually been bedridden from a lot of the family members' official social media pages that I'd seen, which was unfortunate to hear. And man, trust me, I know from experience, losing a parent is never easy, no matter how old you are. You could be, 10 years old, you could be 37 years old, and it's never any easier. Whenever you lose a parent. So I just wanted to do this on behalf of the IE Wrestling Show and my colleagues here of IE Sports Radio. I just want to do a moment of silence for Wild Samoan Sika, a legend in professional wrestling, a legend in Samoan athletes, and of course, a member of the table always with the Anawai family. So a moment of silence for Wild Samoan Sika. God bless you and Godspeed, my friend. This past Friday on SmackDown, we had a newest member of the Bloodline, probably its most dangerous member, finally debut on SmackDown. Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf, debuted during the main event segment of SmackDown. If you guys have not seen any of Jacob Fatu's work in the last 5 or 6 years that he's been on the indies kicking ass, specifically in Major League Wrestling MLW, where he was their former world champion. This guy is the real deal. He is one of the most athletic big men I had seen in a long time. And hell, I was kind of shocked when I saw him this past Friday because it looked like he had toned up and slimmed down a bit. Like he wasn't as big as he had looked on the indies. He definitely had gotten himself nice and and fit for his WWE worldwide television debut for sure. And did he make an impact? Holy shit. He showed up when it looked like Solo Sikoa was about to get a 3-on-1 beatdown from Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and the undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes. But that was not the case. Solo Sikoa with a smirk on his face. They turned around. Boom! Super kick to Randy Orton. Super kick to KO. Super kick to Randy Orton. Jacob Fatu standing in the middle of the ring live in Chicago, where it's a very smart wrestling crowd. So they knew exactly who this man was when he showed up in the middle of the ring on SmackDown. And he did not disappoint in his debut. It was definitely one of the biggest stories coming out of WWE this past weekend. And Jacob Fatu not only decimated the trio of Rhodes, Orton, and Owens, he singled out Cody in this attack, laid him out on the announce table, and from the very top rope of the ring, hit him with a huge Samoan splash right through the table. Cody apparently, I don't know if he's kayfabing us or he's being legit, but apparently on social media, he stated that he has 2 broken ribs after the attack from Jacob Fatu. After splashing Cody Rhodes through the announce table, he went into the ring, embraced Solo Sikoa, and they put up the ones, guys, the ones. And the Bloodline has a new member. This new Bloodline 2.0, has become even more dangerous now. You got Solo Sikoa, this de facto new head of the table. He appointed himself the new head of the table. You got Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, the Gorillas of Destiny, and now you got the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. Man, I don't know where this Bloodline storyline is going to take us now, but I had my reservations at post WrestleMania whenever Roman Reigns had taken his sabbatical from the WWE after losing the title to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. I had my reservations about where this was going to lead, but man, this is exactly what I've been waiting for. I'm telling you right now, this is going to lead to Bloodline Civil War, and I'm calling it right now. You heard it here first. Remember this. You heard it here first on IE Sports Radio's IE Wrestling Show, the premier professional wrestling podcast. Who is the undisputed champion of IE Sports Radio? Yours truly. Remember this. Mark this. Snippet this. Clip this. Whatever you got to do to remember this moment right now, I want you to remember what I'm about to say. At Survivor Series War Games in November, I'm calling it right now. It's going to be Bloodline Civil War in War Games. We're going to get Bloodline 2.0, Solo, Fatu, and the Tongans against the OG bloodline of Jey Uso, yeet, Jimmy Uso, no yeet, the honorary Us, Sami Zayn, and the tribal chief, the real head of the table, Roman Reigns. I'm calling it right now. That's going to be the main event of Survivor Series this year. If that's not the plan, I don't know what is, because this is all leading to it. These are breadcrumbs that are leading right to that. That has to be the main event of Survivor Series in War Games, and it starts this summer now, as of last Friday. This is where we start getting to that point, because I know Roman Reigns will eventually return to WWE television. A lot of people are speculating that he's going to show up at Money in the Bank. I personally think Roman Reigns should show up at SummerSlam. That's the bigger event of the summer. It's going to be in a sold-out Cleveland Browns stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. So Roman Reigns is a huge deal. He's going to get a massive face pop when he comes back. He's not going to be a heel when he returns. He's definitely going to be a face this time around because of all these chants of months in and months out since WrestleMania of we want Roman, we want Roman. And I got to say, I'm right there with you. Never thought I'd be a person to say that because I was so critical of this man during his early career in the WWE when they were trying to force feed him down our throats to be the new John Cena, the new, to be the new hero of the WWE, the super Roman. He was Superman. But ever since he made this transition to the head of the table, the tribal chief in the summer of 2020, it has been boom. It has been uphill from here. The WWE has been at its best. He's been at his best. And I'm a fan. I have to say, I'm a fan of Roman's in-ring work. I'm a fan of his mic skills. Yeah, shout out to Larry B, the head honcho of iSports Radio. He just put in the chat room, I remember you couldn't stand Roman Reigns. Yeah, on back in the day on my previous show here on the iSports Radio platform known as the Gorilla Position, me and my former co-host Felicia used to chime in and talk about it. We could not stand him. We hated the fact that WWE was force-feeding this man down our throat to try and make him the new franchise of the company, the new big star, you know what I mean? He was trying to be the new John Cena, and it just wasn't working. Whatever they were doing, it just wasn't clicking. This guy was getting booed out of the building every time his music hit. And now it's way different. Trust me, I know from experience. I experienced it myself back in February when I went to a live SmackDown in Dallas. And it was the night that the first night of WrestleMania's main event was set in stone whenever Cody and Seth made the match official against The Rock and Roman Reigns. I was there that night when Roman's music hit. Even though I was a huge Cody fan and I was all about Cody, I had my Cody Crybaby sign in support of Cody Rhodes. I had my championship with me. I was all in on Cody. It was just like, something just came over me. As soon as Roman Reigns' music hit that first note, I was on my feet just like everyone else in that arena, and I had my one in the air, my one finger. Even my dad, who's standing next to me, he didn't know what was going on really, and I had to nudge him. I was like, "Put your one in the air, damn it!" Like show some respect for the tribal chief. You know what I mean? I had to educate him. I had to let him know. You know what I mean? But yes, mark my words. Thank you. Right there. You see it right there in the chat. It's in print now. It's in print. The main event of Survivor Series War Games will be the Bloodline versus OG Bloodline, or Bloodline 2.0 versus OG Bloodline. You heard it here first, guys. That's what I think that's where we're getting to. And I feel like whatever the outcome of that Survivor Series match is going to lead us to the main event of WrestleMania, one of the nights of WrestleMania next year in Vegas. And that's going to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns. That's where we're going to eventually lead to. Because I feel like what it's going to come down to, or what it's going to be revealed as, is that The Rock has been the one pulling the strings behind this new bloodline, that The Rock was trying to, usurp the power of Roman Reigns. That's what I feel like it's going to be revealed. I think Rock is going to be heel for this feud, and Roman's going to be the face. So, oh, man, so many twists and turns, so many plot twists. This is cinema, guys. This is what the WWE does best. in terms of their product, and that is storyline storytelling. So stay tuned, guys. Buckle up. It's going to be a crazy next few months here in the WWE for sure, and you'll hear all about it live here on the IE Sports Radio's IE Wrestling Show for sure. Oh, man. So that was probably one of the best things that came out of this weekend. Next thing on the docket was recently Triple H, the COO of the WWE, Triple H, Paul Levesque, as he's better known by or wants to be known by more because he's no longer an in-ring competitor, but he was once known as the Game Triple H. Paul Levesque was recently on Pat McAfee's podcast and show that's on ESPN, where, he was answering some questions and just talking about the overall product since WrestleMania season. And he was asked about the deal with Netflix, which a lot of us have been really curious about as far as what's going to happen with the, when WWE finally moves Monday Night Raw to Netflix from the USA Network. Because right now, since they are on a cable network, they do have to answer to board of directors. They have to answer to standards and practices is what I meant to say. Standards and practices, things like that. There's things they can say, things they can't say, yada yada, things they can do, whatever. But with them being on Netflix, the question a lot of us have been asking as wrestling fans was, will there be any restrictions? Will they still be TV PG when they move to Netflix? And Triple H pretty much answered that question for us this past week on Pat McAfee's show. Triple H announced that upon WWE's move to Netflix, Raw will be completely uncensored. Triple H confirmed that WWE is putting a renewed focus on edgier content catering to all ages. The PG era is officially dead. Oh, man, this brings me so much joy. Oh, excuse me. This brings me so much joy to hear that. The PG the PG era has been some of the hardest things to watch. They've had some bright spots in it, trust me. They've had a lot of bright spots, especially this past WrestleMania season. We had that crazy beatdown from The Rock on Cody Rhodes where he was covered in blood and The Rock pulled up, he had Cody in his hands. It was like, you're going to learn, Cody Rhodes. You're going to learn, fuck with the final boss. You know what I mean? Like, insane, guys. Insane stuff. That was, I couldn't even imagine them doing that 3-4 years ago, let alone right now while they're still on USA Network. But they got away with it. And with that said, Triple H has officially announced that Raw will be completely uncensored when it goes to Netflix, which I was like, oh, thank God. Hopefully they don't take it overboard. Let's keep it within, at least like some sort of like manageable levels. You know what I mean? I don't want them to just go completely nuts when it comes to this newfound freedom when they move to Netflix in January. But I'm all for it. I can't wait till they move to Netflix in January. It's going to be a whole different landscape in a year's time, guys, or less than a year's time, because this coming October, NXT and SmackDown move to the USA. SmackDown will move to the USA Network, and NXT moves from USA to the CW Network. And NXT has been doing gangbusters. They've been doing huge ratings lately. They've been kicking a lot of ass. Their numbers keep growing and growing. SmackDown just did a huge rating this past week. Raw did another huge rating last Monday as well with the debut of the Wyatt Six. So big stuff with the WWE going on. And not only that, to pivot from that, also on the Pat McAfee show, Triple H announced officially that they have, with the Indiana Sports Corporation and WWE have come to terms on a huge agreement on 3 of the biggest shows that WWE could put on, and they're all going to be coming to Indiana, starting with this coming January 2025. Oh, excuse me, not January. It's actually going to fall on a February this time around, which is, different for me because usually it's always at the tail end of January. But starting with Saturday, February 1st, 2025, the Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana, which is the home of the Indianapolis Colts. They will bring you one of my favorite, if not my favorite, pay-per-view event of the year. That is the Royal Rumble. So the Royal Rumble will be live February 1st, 2025 from the Indianapolis Colts home stadium, the Lucas Oil Stadium. But not only that, the deal that the WWE and the Indiana Sports Corporation had made with each other is that in the near future, they will also bring SummerSlam to the Lucas Oil Stadium and a future WrestleMania. So, yes, over the span of the next few years, they're going to get a Royal Rumble, they're going to get a SummerSlam, and they're going to get a WrestleMania. Hey, that's awesome, Larry. Larry said that the Royal Rumble is going to fall on his birthday next year. That's awesome. But I remember the Royal Rumble fell on my birthday a couple of years in the last 20 years. So I know it's fun, and I always make a party out of it, always. So I'll be sure, even though I'm not with you in Cali, man, I'll make a party for you over here in Fort Worth for the Royal Rumble, man, for sure. A Royal Rumble viewing party. Yeah, all right. Hell yeah. But man, that's big news, guys. WWE making big news all the time. Triple H just taking his just flopping it out there for everyone to see. Just whipping it out. Like, yep, that's the deal. That's right. I am that damn good. Oh man, we're gonna take a quick little break, guys. With this little bit of news that we talked about, let's take a breather for a moment. Let's kind of dwell on it. Let's absorb it, and then we'll come right back to the IE Wrestling Show. But first, let's hear from some of our IE Sports Radio family affiliates, guys. Take it away.
Yo, what's going down? This is Spaced Out Sports with your host, J-Man, giving you all Houston sports straight from the source. Brought to you IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. In this show, we're going to talk about everything Houston through and through, and everything. We're going to talk about the surrounding areas. We're going to talk about local sports, everything in Texas in general, mainly Houston, but we're going to talk about everything in the sports world. I want to hear from y'all. Y'all definitely going to hear from me. We're going to go from anything all over, from it's football to MMA to everything. Let's have a good show. I'm looking forward to hearing from the city. Y'all make sure y'all just check me out every Wednesday right here at Spaced Out Sports, brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go.
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports? Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patty Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo Sports with a Twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did.
Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and our weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo, go Bills!
Yo, what's good, guys? We're back with the IE Wrestling Show. If you're just tuning in, we discussed the debut of Jacob Fatu as he's the newest member of the Bloodline 2.0. We also discussed the awesome deal that WWE and the Indiana Sports Corporation was able to create with each other, where it will bring the Royal Rumble this coming February 2025, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania in the very near future to the Lucas Oil Stadium, the home of the Indianapolis Colts, and that when Raw moves to Netflix in January, it will be 100% uncensored. So, exactly. Very much so. It's going to be some great stuff, guys. Real quick, I wanted to actually backtrack to when I was talking about Jacob Fatu. I forgot to mention this. So if people, I've seen people kind of criticizing Jacob Fatu's debut this past Friday. Trust me, I saw a lot more positive than I saw negative. But some of the negative that I witnessed, a lot of people, it was a lot of the same thing. Like, people don't even know who this guy is. It's because these dudes don't even do their research. They don't follow anything but the mainstream wrestling. I do my best to follow all aspects of professional wrestling, especially the indies, because you never know who the next big star is going to be and where they're going to come from. They're not always going to come straight out of college, being a product of WWE's Performance Center. Sometimes you can pluck them right out of a local indie fed around the country. And Jacob Fatu, yes, he is a member of the Anoa'i family. Legit, he is a blood member of the bloodline. He is the son of the Tonga Kid, and also known as Samu. Or was he known as Samu? Or I think there might be God, there's so many Samoans. I believe he is the son of the Tonga Kid, who was a former WWE superstar back in the late 80s, the mid to late 80s. And so he is legit a member of the Anoa'i family. And this guy, a lot of people thought he was persona non grata because apparently he is a this is public knowledge, so I'm not airing out anybody's dirty laundry, but apparently he's a felon. He did time, like legit did time for armed robbery. And so a lot of people thought he was somebody that WWE would never touch, but it's a new era, new people in charge, and talent outweighs mistakes that were made in the past. This guy's been doing all he can to provide for his 7 kids. and he's only 32, I think he's only 32 years old. And the bloodline will last for ages, guys. There's so many more Samoans that are in the docket. Roman Reigns got 3 kids. The Usos, both brothers of the Usos, have 2 kids. Solo's got 3 of himself, for himself. Tama Tonga's got 3. So guys, the bloodline will last forever. The Rock has 4 or 5 children. I think 3 or 4 children. His daughter is already the general manager of NXT, and he's got 3 other little girls that will probably eventually grow up and become a part of wrestling as well. You never know. The bloodline will last forever, guys. There's so many Samoans. Anyway, what I was trying to say was, for people who are thinking that Jacob Fatu is not a big deal and that the general public doesn't know who he is, as of just 2 days ago, it was reported that Jacob Fatu's new werewolf t-shirt is already the number 2 best-selling t-shirt on WWEshop.com. And he's only been on television just one time this past Friday. That debut alone already got this guy the second biggest selling t-shirt in the last, less than a week. That's impressive. So congratulations to Jacob Fatu on that. I'm excited for him. I see a big future for him. I really do. This guy is gonna just he's already over in my eyes. To me, that debut couldn't have been any better. I just wanted to put that out there. And another, just a little tidbit. I know we didn't mention this. I didn't get hashtags or banners prepared for this because it actually slipped my mind. But if you're a fan of longtime WWE broadcaster and host of WWE's YouTube show, The Bump, Kayla Braxton, I have some unfortunate news for you. She will no longer be with the company as of this past Friday. That was her last day as a member of the WWE family. She posted in a lengthy social media post on her X and Instagram pages. She put, after nearly 8 years holding the microphone on WWE television, I'm setting it down to pursue my next chapter. Next week at the world's most famous arena, I will be officially signing off, which is actually, I guess I was misinformed. So this coming Friday, when SmackDown emanates from MSG in New York City, at Madison Square Garden, for those who are the uninitiated, she will be completely ending her career with the WWE. I don't know what she has in store, but apparently a lot of sports broadcasting networks and entertainment companies have been sending out feelers to her because she is very talented. She has a presence. She's a beautiful girl. Who wouldn't want her on their network? So she's going to be exiting the WWE, and who knows if she'll ever return. But I say congratulations to her. She did her thing when she was here with the company, and I wish her nothing but the best in her future endeavors. So congratulations to Kayla Braxton for your time dedicated to the professional wrestling crowd and fans of the WWE. You definitely deserve it. You put up with a lot because, thank you. Like, I remember there were times where people were bullying her online and things like that, which is absurd, but you know how it is. The internet just sucks sometimes. But congratulations to her. Hopefully she has a big future ahead of her. And so next thing I want to talk about is the debuts. It was 2 days in a row, last Monday and last Tuesday, where we had two viral debuts. Of course, the Wyatt Six, and not only that, the man who, if you say his name, he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. I have to sing that every time I talk about Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry, one of the biggest stars in the independent / TNA wrestling scene. He is a contracted TNA star, but man, his debut on NXT went completely and utterly viral. Here's the stats. I can't wait to talk about this. Joe Hendry's debut on WWE NXT gained over 3.5 million views in just 15 hours after he debuted last Tuesday on NXT on WWE's official X account. That's more views than the debuts of Okada, Will Ospreay, and Mercedes Moné combined. And all those people were supposed to be, big deals, and they're gonna change the tide. They're gonna bring more eyes to the arena empty wrestling product, the AEW product. And the three of them, who were supposed to be all big deals individually, could not outshine the star that is Joe Hendry. And that makes me so happy to hear that. Yes, Joe Hendry has a future in the WWE. I bet you whenever his contract comes up with TNA, WWE is going to be right there with a big old contract like, hey, Joe, we believe in you. How about you sign on the dotted line? If they don't, they're stupid, because those social media numbers are insane. And he's not even a WWE guy. To bring that many eyes to the WWE product and you're not even a contracted wrestler is unheard of. It's unheard of. He even had more views than the Wyatt Six debut, because the Wyatt Six debut was huge. In just the 24 hours from last Monday, they had almost 3 million views just by themselves, just for their debut. So that was big numbers for them. And then here comes Joe Hendry showing up on NXT, and his segment was very short. He was in and out of the ring really quickly. But that debut, when you heard his music, and because his music itself, the theme music is like a meme now. It went viral. And then him showing up on WWE's developmental brand, NXT, what? People lost their minds. I was watching all these reactions so a lot of podcasters and live streamers that watch NXT live streaming on TikTok and Instagram, and everybody was having the same reaction, like, what? Joe Hendry's in NXT? What? And it couldn't have been any better. It couldn't have been any better. The only thing I remember last week we were talking about Clash of the Castle, and I was wanting Joe Hendry to show up in Scotland because he is Scottish. I thought that would have been the best time for him to show up, but WWE knows what they're doing. He showed up on NXT and got them the biggest numbers they've had social media view-wise since WrestleMania. A single wrestler who's not contracted by the WWE brought them the most social media views on his debut video since WrestleMania. Guys, Joe Hendry is a commodity, and he will be a part of the WWE product, mark my words, at some point. Whenever his contract with TNA lets up, he will be a member of the WWE roster. I guarantee it. He has to. I feel like it would be a disservice if they don't even try to get his services in the company, because this guy is mad over. Okay, just from that alone, that's insane. Congratulations to Joe Hendry. I recently watched him being interviewed on Busted Open Radio with Bully Ray and David Lagana and is it Lagana or LaGreca? I think it's LaGreca. I could be wrong. And Tommy Dreamer, and he was so humble. It's not going to his head. He said, "I'm living a dream." Like, he's like, that video right there. You saw my real reaction. You saw me living a dream in real time, and I couldn't be more grateful for it. And just to see that it's gone viral is, he can't believe it. You can see how humble and appreciative Joe Hendry is, and it just makes me happy to see that. So congratulations to Joe Hendry. Congratulations to the Wyatt Six for having such a big debut. And the Wyatt Six had a really awesome segment last night. I just want to touch on, not last night, 2 nights ago on Monday Night Raw. They had a really, really awesome segment where Nikki Cross showed up and gave Michael Cole a package, and Michael Cole opened it, and it was for all the kids out there who are younger than 30 years old. They gave Michael Cole what we used to call a VHS tape. What is that? What is that, SoCal Saint? I don't know what that is. Well, let me tell you, youngin. Let me tell you, youngster. A VHS tape is why we used to watch videos. It's this rectangular little thing where you would put into something called a VCR. Remember that, guys? VCRs? You push it in there and you hit play, and it plays like like how you click on Netflix and click on something to watch. We actually had to physically put it in something to watch it. I know, that's crazy, right? What? Anyway, I know. I hope everybody in the chat room remembers what a damn VHS is. I hope we're all old enough to remember those. Anyway, they played the VHS tape later on Raw, and it was one of the best segments I've seen in Raw. It gave me chills. It gave me goosebumps in a good way. It was Uncle Howdy, the character portrayed by the brother of the late great Bray Wyatt, Taylor Rotunda, better known to WWE fans as Bo Dallas, interviewing himself as Bo Dallas or as Taylor. I don't think he was going as Bo Dallas. It was Taylor Rotunda face to face with Uncle Howdy, and they were interviewing each other. And it was real. It was so real. Hey, shout out to Trisha B in the chat room. Hello, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for tuning in. It was real. This was real. If you haven't seen this segment, do yourself a favor and look for it on WWE's multiple social media channels, because it's great. Larry B, if you haven't seen it, I know you're kind of starting to get back into wrestling. My head honcho, my good buddy, my friend Larry B. You should check this out, man. It's intense. It's real. This is the kind of stuff that I really like, because the touch of reality makes it mean so much more. And Uncle Howdy says this thing that starts off the interview, like what did you do, or what's basically asking him, like, like, how did you feel when your brother died? Talking about Bray. And Taylor gives this real raw, emotional answer, that I loved my brother. I looked up to him. I wanted to be like him. I wanted him and me to be this force together and do this thing together, which they were starting to, because when Bray came back, Taylor came back with him as Uncle Howdy. And I think that's where we were leading to, was this thing between him and Bray were going to be this force in the WWE before Bray, unfortunately lost his life at a very, very young age. And with, and this, and he said, like, it was cool that Bray that Taylor touched on this, because there's been a little bit of criticism online about the Wyatt Six. And there's a lot of people are saying that this is exploitative of Bray's legacy and Bray's memory. And Taylor straight up looked these people in the eye during this interview, and he faced it full on, and he did it in the most respectful way possible, saying, he basically called him out on it without actually calling out anyone individually, saying that we're not exploiting my brother's legacy. I don't want him to be forgotten. I don't want us to be forgotten, and they will remember him and they will remember us, pretty much. And I loved it. It just, I'm getting goosebumps right now while I'm talking about it. Like, I'm getting goosebumps right now. Like, it was the best segment I have seen on Raw in a very long time. This interview, it kind of harkened back to Monday Night Raw in the summer of 1997. I'm dating myself real bad. I'm dating myself really bad. 1997. It was Mick Foley, the legendary Mick Foley, Mankind, Dude Love, and Cactus Jack. It was a segment where Mick was interviewed. All his characters interviewed each other. So you had Mankind, Dude Love interviewing each other, and then they introduced his third personality, Cactus Jack. It kind of reminded me of that, where Uncle Howdy and Taylor, two people, two different sides of the coin, interviewing each other. It was great. It was fantastic. I feel another viral video for the Wyatt Six in that, for sure. I can't wait to see where this goes, and I'm just excited for the future with Raw and NXT. Just to mention NXT, with Joe Hendry's debut. That same episode did one of the biggest ratings they've had in a long time. It did just under 800,000 views. It was like 700 and something thousand viewers. Big numbers. I can't say the same for Arena Empty Wrestling, and we'll get right to that very shortly. Let's take another break where we hear from some of our other IE Sports Radio shows. And real quick, before we do take that break, I just want to shout out Trisha B in the chat room. She said her birthday is this coming Saturday, the 29th. Happy birthday to you. Happy early birthday. Thank you for joining us here. I just wanted to give you a shout out and send you some birthday wishes. Everybody in the chat room, wish Trisha a happy birthday, guys. A happy early birthday. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back, and we'll talk about AEW, and we'll see what happens.
What's up, everybody? This is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you. Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, sports fans? You're listening to IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your favorite West Coast Wisconsinite, Bernie Bango, and if you're a cheesehead, Come listen to my show, Big Cheese Sports, where we road trip around America's Dairyland, previewing, reviewing, predicting, debating, and digging into all that is Wisconsin sports at the college and pro levels. Join me on IE Sports Radio, Sundays at 1 p.m. Central Standard. Bernie out.
Woo! The Undisputed Champ is back, guys. Thank you for staying with us, tuning in live to the IE Wrestling Show. We were talking about the big viral hit that was Joe Hendry and the Wyatt Six. Now let's talk about the other side of that coin. Let's talk about the impending failure of AEW. Yes, very much so. That laughter is very appropriate because last Wednesday on Dynamite, AEW had its record lowest rating ever. They came out of Dynamite with 502,000 viewers, the lowest ratings ever, and it was a record low in the demo, the 18 to 49 male demographic as well, where WWE is hitting record highs. These guys are hitting record lows. I mean, what is Tony Khan doing, guys? Tony Khan's booking is what's killing AEW. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a fan that just keeps booking match after match, dream match after dream match after dream match. That's not any way to book a wrestling show. People tune in, yes, to see good wrestling. And I'm not saying that AEW doesn't have good wrestling, because they do at times. Not all the time, but at times they do. But that can't be enough to sustain a television show, because that's what it is. You can put on all the great matches you want, but save it for that's what the pay-per-views are for. The pay-per-views are there to showcase your wrestling talent, because that's what the show leads you up to. That's what all the storylines get you to, is the next pay-per-view. But you have to have compelling stories that keep your viewers listening, that keep your viewers watching, that keep your viewers entertained. And that's what it is. You're a television product. You're not just a wrestling product. You are a television product. You have premium primetime spots on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays over TBS and TNT that they could have given to anyone else or anything else, but they gave it to you. You're a wrestling company, to put on compelling stories to keep viewers watching their channels. And they're leaving in droves, week in and week out. They're doing the complete opposite of WCW, where WCW was beating WWF at the time in the ratings for 83 weeks in a row back in its heyday during the Monday Night Wars. They were beating them decisively 83 weeks in a row. No other company can say that they've ever come that close to putting Vince McMahon in his place. But Eric Bischoff and WCW came that close. And AEW is just like, they're looking at the blueprint of that, and Tony Khan's going like, let's do that, but in reverse. So now they are 69 weeks in a row without having a rating over 1 million viewers. They have not hit 1 million viewers in 69 weeks. Oh, and I guarantee that this coming Wednesday, or today's Wednesday, I'm guarantee you tonight will be no different, and they'll hit the number 70. They'll hit 70 weeks of no million viewers. They're like going for a record in the opposite direction. Let's be the worst possible wrestling company there is. And let's just keep doing that, because I'm all about the heart. Like Tony Khan said something like, I book for the sickos. Okay, that's cool. But the sickos aren't the casual audience. They're not going to be the ones that bring you advertising numbers, advertising revenue. They're not going to be the ones that keep you on the air, because right now this is your negotiation phase for a new TV deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, who is the parent company to TBS and TNT. And if you can't show them that you can bring in the viewers, they have no reason to keep you on their show. On their networks. Like that's how that works. When television shows get canceled all the time if they're not bringing in the required viewers. And it should be no different for this wrestling company. If you can't bring in what you promised you could after 5 years, I'm sorry, man. You need to start thinking outside the box and start thinking about where you can put your product, because I would be shocked if Warner Brothers gives them another deal at the same rate that they're at now. Because in Tony Khan's mind, AEW is the hot commodity. AEW is the number one wrestling brand. Only in Tony Khan's mind and the people that accept his millions and millions of dollars in pay. Because they're all jaded. They know what it is. He's a Nepo baby with an endless bank account, and they can basically get paid whatever they want, however they want. And I'm not criticizing anybody. Get the bag, man. If that was me, I'd be getting the bag too, okay? But eventually I would be like, all right, Tony, I made my money. Let me go actually do something for my career. I'm going to WWE. Peace out. No hard feelings. Thanks for all that money. But I mean, people do it all the time. I mean, jumping from team to team or whatever, you know what I mean? There's cities. I mean, teams even move from city to city. You know what I mean? Like, it's business. That's what Tony Khan has not realized. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing business wise. I don't know. It's shocking. It's shocking. If this was back in the day, they would have been dumped a long time ago. You know what I mean? They would have been dumped already. Well, enough about AEW. Let's get to Money in the Bank in Toronto. That's right. Money in the Bank comes to you live Saturday, July 6th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's a premium live event live in TO, Toronto. Let me get the official location. I'm trying to pull it up here for you guys. Sorry, I'm doing this all on my phone. All my notes are on my phone. It'll be coming to you live from the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And it's going to be streaming live, of course, on Peacock, if you don't already subscribe to Peacock. Yo, shout out to Marcus Losgreat. Yes, it is over. I feel like, I mean, it probably can be. I wouldn't be surprised if we'll be watching one of those Vice documentaries, Who Killed AEW, just like they finished the Who Killed WCW 4-part series actually yesterday. The last episode aired yesterday. I just watched it this morning, actually, while I was at work still. So it was all right. I wouldn't put it up there as good as Dark Side of the Ring, but it was good. If you haven't checked it out, if you're interested in seeing a backstage look at WCW's rise and fall, you can look it up on if you Google Who Killed WCW, you'll get all links to all 4 episodes. Then you can watch it if you don't have the Vice network on your cable or satellite or whatever. So these are the matches that have been made so far for Money in the Bank, which is next weekend. We have some more qualifying matches that will be taking place over the course of this coming Friday and next Monday night on Raw for the Money in the Bank matches. But as of last Friday, after the attack by the Bloodline, this match was made official over WWE social media platforms. It will be Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and the undisputed WWE champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, teaming up together, taking on Solo Sikoa, Tonga Loa, and Tama Tonga. Or Jacob Fatu. I don't know what restrictions Jacob Fatu has, so I don't know if Jacob Fatu will be in the match or not, but right now it's showing to be Solo Sikoa and the Tongas taking on KO, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank. A big 6-man tag team match. That looks promising. I'm really looking forward to that. We have we have an Intercontinental title match. Well, sorry, I got a little distracted by that. Marcus Losgreat in the chat room. One of our many hosts of IE Sports Radio shows. He's the host of it was Gloves Off, right? The host of Gloves Off, big boxing show here on IE Sports Radio. He said they have strayed away from what made them relevant. Are you talking about AEW? Or you're talking about the Bloodline? I'm a little confused by that by that comment. If you could give me some clarification so I can further comment and help and and interact with you, bro. But we'll come back to that. Sorry, I didn't mean to get distracted. I want to be able to, interact with y'all and give y'all, my opinion on whatever you're trying to discuss with me. But anyway, the Intercontinental Championship match was made official this past Monday night on Raw. It'll be Sami Zayn, the underdog from the underground, the reigning defending Intercontinental Champion, will be defending the Intercontinental Championship against one of the biggest rising stars right now in the company, Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is the nephew of Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner and the son of the dog-faced gremlin Rick Steiner. So he's got wrestling blood flowing through his veins. He is the new genesis of the Steiners, and I think he's got a Intercontinental Championship reign coming. I can see him defeating Sami Zayn in Toronto, in Sami's home country of Canada. It'll definitely bring him a lot of heat if they want him to be this big, massive, dominating heel, because I feel like he's kind of tweening in between being a heel and a face, because people can't help but cheer for some of the cool shit this guy does, especially when it was 2 weeks ago on Raw. He ran from the entranceway around the ring, catching Ludwig Kaiser in a huge spear right in front of the announce table. If you haven't seen that video, people have been doing some funny edits with that. They did an edit where you see Ludwig running one way and he's collecting rings like Sonic, and and here comes like Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, and here comes Braun Breaker. And then when he hits Ludwig, all the rings just pop out of him, just like Sonic would whenever he got hit by a bad guy. It's really funny. The internet, man, just cracks me up sometimes. But I definitely see Braun Breaker potentially defeating Sami Zayn for that Intercontinental Championship. I love Sami. I think he's been a great Intercontinental Champion. I was hoping for him to have a bigger reign, or a longer reign with the title, but I don't see them pinning or defeating Braun this early on in his main roster run. They've been showing him as a dominant force. He hasn't lost a match since he debuted on the main roster, and I just feel like that streak is going to continue. After his shocking return to Raw 2 weeks ago, the match was made official, but they just added new stipulations to this match. For the World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest, El Campeón, will defend the title against Seth freaking Rollins. New stipulations have been added this past Monday night on Raw. If Damian Priest defeats Seth Rollins, Rollins can never challenge for the World Championship as long as Damian Priest is the World Champion. So this is if he loses this match against Priest, he's one and done until Priest loses the title. He can never challenge for the title again until Priest loses that championship. On the flip side of that coin, if Rollins defeats Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest will be forced to leave the Judgment Day, the group that Damian Priest is now the de facto leader of, with Dirty Dominic Mysterio, the new WWE World Tag Team Champions Finn Balor and JD McDonough after this past Monday night on Raw, defeating R-Truth and The Miz in the main event of Raw. And I guess Carlito is now kind of a honorary member. He keeps hanging around them. And Rhea Ripley, who's still on the injured list. She's not on television yet after being injured after WrestleMania. So I don't know what will happen. I don't see Seth Rollins defeating Damian Priest for the title. I don't think so, unless they want to go with Rollins and Gunther at SummerSlam, which I don't know how I feel about that, because I wouldn't like to see Rollins have such a short reign with the title just for him to lose it to Gunther, because I feel like Gunther is going to win the title at SummerSlam. I think that has to happen. I don't see Gunther losing at SummerSlam. Gunther has only lost 3 times since he's been in the company. Excuse me. He's only lost 3 times since being a member of the WWE, either on NXT or the main roster. He lost to Braun Breaker, he lost to Ilya Dragunov, and he lost to Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. 3. He's only lost 3 times, and I don't see another one coming this so soon. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to lose at SummerSlam. And so in that case, I would rather see Damian Priest go over and have Gunther defeat him for the title at SummerSlam. And then that way, the stipulation that they agreed to, Rollins, it'll be like, ended, because now Rollins can officially challenge Gunther for the world title since Priest is no longer champion. But that's just my opinion. And the two namesakes of the pay-per-view, the Money in the Bank ladder matches. The first is the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. The winner of the match has to climb a ladder, grab the briefcase, which guarantees you a world championship match against any women's world champion on the roster, anytime, any place, for 1 calendar year. And the people who have qualified for this match so far are Raw's Io Sky, Raw's Lyra Valkyria, and SmackDown's Chelsea Green. And there's 3 more members of the women's roster to be named for this match. They have more qualifying matches to be determined this coming Friday on SmackDown and next Monday night on Raw to round out the 6 members of the match. And for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which of course, same rules, climb a ladder, grab the briefcase, has a contract for a world championship match guaranteed for 1 calendar year, anytime, any place, no matter what. And these are the men who have qualified for the match so far. Chad Gable, thank you, just qualified this past Monday night on Raw. Andrade just qualified last Friday night on SmackDown. That was the other person I couldn't remember. That was those were the qualified matches on SmackDown I couldn't remember. Chelsea Green won on Friday, and then Andrade also won his match on Friday. Carmelo Hayes, who I mentioned earlier at the top of the hour, won his match. Big match. He actually pinned Randy Orton to qualify, so that's a big win for Carmelo Hayes. And then, of course, the Yeet, Jey Uso qualified 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw, and there's 2 more spots in that men's Money in the Bank ladder match to be determined. So, I don't know who I want to win this match. I think it's going to be 2 more people who have never been in a Money in the Bank ladder match, which for me, that makes sense. I want to see new stars made. This is what this match should be. This match should make new stars. Already established stars should not be winning briefcases for world title matches. They already have been established. They don't need it. I think Drew McIntyre is going to end up getting one of the spots, which, I mean, in storyline terms, I guess that makes sense because he's got to try and find a way to get a world title after CM Punk has screwed him twice. So we'll see about that. But I feel like it should go to somebody different. I feel like this should either go to Jey Uso or Chad Gable. Those are the 2 people are my favorites to win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. And we'll find out next Saturday, July 6th, when it streams live on Peacock, guys. Well, man, I feel like I touched a lot of stuff. I hope I didn't miss anything, guys. But if I did, there's always next week. Same SoCal Saint time, same SoCal Saint channel. I do appreciate all of you watching me and listening live for the IE Wrestling Show live here on IE Sports Radio. Please follow me on X and on TikTok at IE Wrestling Show right there below. Follow IE Sports Radio on all social media platforms, X, IG, Facebook, TikTok, IE Sports Radio. Follow the YouTube channel, IE Sports Radio. Please go to IESportsRadio.com, get yourself some merch, join for free, and just support IE Sports Radio, guys. I love it. I love doing this show for you. I am your undisputed champion of IE Sports Radio, and I will continue to defend this title week in and week out. Anybody who wants to come to the champ, step to me. I'll put you down in the ground like nobody's business. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Check us out next week, live, same time, same channel. Take care, guys. I'm signing off.